Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Damo here, back with another one. And in this one, I'm actually going to be doing a killer tier list, right? I thought I would go through this because I've been playing a little bit recently and I've come up with a couple of new discoveries. Actually, I just noticed that Pyramid Head isn't on here, but that's okay just because Pyramid Head literally came out yesterday. So I can't really say. I'm gonna give an idea at the end where I think Pyramid Head will lie. But yeah, so basically, let's just get right into it. So, first things first, I want to start with S tier. Some of the ones that are kind of obvious. And we'll go down and then I'll explain the differences in between each tier and why each killer is better than another. And yeah, so first starting off with S tier, I just got to put boom, Spirit. In my personal opinion, Spirit is the best killer in the entire game. I think she's the only killer who can three hook four survivors at the highest level of play as like rank wise. So like a rank one Survivor Friends team, something like that. I think Spirit is the only killer who can three hook four people to do that, or at least get relatively close. Basically, Spirit does not have to slug to be as good as she has to be, or needs to be, or is, right? She can just simply play, and if you are good enough, use the right build, you know how to play, you get the right map, all of that, then she can just play and win. In my opinion, I think she's the only killer who can do that in this entire game. And then we got Nurse. Nurse is a close second, but the problem with Nurse is you have to be basically perfect with Nurse, right? You pretty much if you miss a blink with Nurse, right, it hurts you a lot. Or even God forbid you miss a swing after a blink. Oh my God, 5 second stun. Oh my, and then 3 seconds waiting for your blinks to come back. Oh my God. After the nerf, Nurse is not fun to play. She is good, but she's not worth learning. She's not fun to play. She is only frustrating because you have to be a perfect nurse to really do anything. Nurse is good, but not as good as Spirit. The thing about nurses though is she kind of has to slug a little bit to be viable, which is that's why she's behind Spirit. Just she I don't know, she really does have to slug and you have to be perfect with blinks, which is why I put Spirit more ahead of her because you can kind of make like a couple of mistakes. You still don't want to make any mistakes as killer because any mistake is huge, but you can make a couple of mistakes as Spirit. Like maybe you didn't quite get to somebody with your blink and you have to loop one pallet. You might be okay, just don't take too long in that pallet, or something like that. But as Nurse, if you miss a blink or a swing after a blink, it's done. It's over with. So yeah, that's why Nurse is not better than Spirit at all, in my opinion, especially after the nerf. She was probably equal before, but after the nerf, not at all. And not only that, she's not fun to play anymore. So it's just overall, definitely Spirit is better. But other than that, boom, I would have to put Billy. Billy right up there with the rest of them, just because again, he's really, really he slugs. I personally think Billy is the best slugging killer in the entire game. He slugs better than anybody. I think Oni is a close second, but because Oni is basically Billy, but only part of the time, I mean that shows you who's better. Billy has to be higher up on the list there. And I think really that's pretty much it. Again, the problem with Billy, you can't down four survivors three times. It just won't happen. You need to slug. You have to slug as Billy. Nurse can kind of do what Spirit can do, but not quite. You still got to slug. If you don't slug as Nurse, I genuinely don't think you'll win. And she's not even fun to play. She's just frustrating. So that's going to be S tier. So moving on to A tier, right? So here's what I would do. I would probably put boom. I gotta put Huntress. Honestly, if I'm completely honest, she goes here. Oh, I can't put her there. She goes before Spirit because of Iridescent Head, but because they're most likely going to change Iridescent Head, I would say boom. I would put Huntress right here. Huntress is really good because she has full map with her hatchets, right? If you're good enough and you catch survivors off guard, full map. But in reality, that may not happen so often. So what I am more so looking at is the fact that She basically, if played correctly, can hit through pallets and through windows, in theory, right? Again, it's one of those things like with Nurse, if you mess up one time, it's over with. It's not necessarily the same as Huntress, as like, oh, you mess up once and it's over with. It's just you have to be able to know what hits you can and cannot get, or what the survivor is going to do versus a Huntress. So a lot of the times people won't throw down pallets. They think you're going to pull out a hatchet. So boom, there you go. So that's one thing right there. You just don't pull out a hatchet. You just keep running. That's kind of like a beginner thing that may or may not work. They can always run back and throw the pallet down, and you may have to M1. And again, that doesn't really matter unless you're using Eerie Head. But anyways, point is that Huntress is good because she can pretty much ignore pallets and windows. That is why she's good. The reason why she's not S tier is because of how fucking slow she is. She's so slow. So goddamn slow. Literally, you can lose just simply because of the map you get on. Even with the map changes still, it happens. It's annoying. You may get a really good map with crazy loops for the survivors. That's happened to me with Clown actually, and then it's unfortunate. Killers are like that. Some killers are like that. Some maps you can't win on, and it's unfortunate, and that is why she is A tier because of her speed, and that just it holds her back. It really does. And I think other than that, boom, we're gonna go ahead and put Oni right here. Oni is after Huntress just because, his ability is slugging, right? And I feel like if you're slugging, it's different than a killer who can actually be able to kill 4 people 3 times. That's actually harder to do than slugging. And because Oni just straight up revolves around slugging, I think that's relatively easy to do. It's you won't pip up as often. Another reason I kept Oni less. Really, you really there's no reason. I'm gonna be completely honest. You could completely switch these back and forth. There's really nothing that says you can't. They're pretty much even up in the A tier. I would say these two are about even. Yeah, and that's that. And the next person that I would put up there is probably boom, Freddy, right? And I put Freddy up here because his map pressure is actually insane. With a couple of like Dead Man Switch that came out, if you use Dead Man Switch, you literally it counters Gen Rushers easy if used correctly. And then if they are not Gen Rushing and they're going for the hook, you're not necessarily leaving the hook just because that's how you play Freddy if you're using Dead Man Switch. But that's just Dead Man Switch. There's Infinite Freddy, where you use the chains and the other thing I forget what something that makes everybody spawn in the world. The what's it called? And they can't get out of the dream world unless they use a thingy, the escape the dream world thing. And boom, and then everyone's super slow. Use Thanatophobia, Sloppy Butcher, Dying Light, stuff like that. Pop goes the weasel. Boom, it's infinite game. You literally will always win. And that's why Freddy is actually A tier because he's actually really good. His ability makes him good, um, just base kit. So you can use multiple different builds and try different things with Freddy, and some things will excel more than others, and it'll become more viable than others. But the point is that Freddy he's so versatile. Um, he doesn't have a one hit, which also holds him back. His map pressure is good, but again, without the one hit, are the downs really happening fast enough, even with all the map pressure? So those are a couple of the reasons he's an A tier and not S tier. But he's really good either way. Base kit makes him so good, just with nothing on him, just with absolutely nothing. His ability to be able to teleport to gens and honestly, Dream Pallets are better than the Dream Snares, but the Dream Snares are still good. You can use those relatively like how Clown uses his, what's it called? Sort of. And, you can cut people short on loops, catch people off guard. They're not paying attention to it. They don't know. Run into a Dream Snare while they're trying to loop you. Boom. You get a free hit or a free down. But yeah, so boom, Freddy. And then the next one would be probably my main man, Trapper, dude. Trapper is actually insane, right? The problem with Trapper is it's kind of like you set up a plan and it either works or it doesn't work, right? And the reason he's A tier is because honestly, it works more than it doesn't. Surprisingly enough, with Trapper, if you play him like Atsdarva plays him, you'll know what I'm talking about. You have a plan, you go about it, it usually works. It's literally insane. Really not much to say about Trapper. You don't play him how most people play him. You don't put it around pallets. I mean, you can, but there's more to it than just, oh, blindlessly putting a trap around every single pallet on the map. There's much more to it. And if you set up a plan, you follow through with the plan, you don't get scared halfway through, and you know, you just go to it, and the plan will almost always work. It's crazy. I love it. Trapper, A tier for sure. Um, and yeah, so the next person would be boom, just like that. And I think this is going to be it for the A tier, honestly. I put Ghostface in A tier, just simply because, his ability, man, like it catches people off guard so often, and I honestly find Ghostface doing really well on big maps. Like it's crazy. It blows my mind sometimes. Ghostface does really good on big maps just because it's almost like the lack of map pressure helps him. People being too confident and then catching them off guard with Ghostface. It really happens a lot, even in mid game, even after they know you're Ghostface. It's really, really good. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, so that's Ghostface. That's pretty much going to be it for A tier, I think. And then on to B tier. Let's see. Think I'm going to go boom, just like that. So I put Hag in B tier, so I know Hag is actually really good, and some people can play Hag really well, but I think the learning curve with Hag is even harder than Billy, even harder than Nurse, because the learning curve is not really like the learning curve is different. It's not okay, I have to learn to play I have to learn these blinks. You know what I mean? Or oh, okay, so I have to learn when I can and can't use this chainsaw. No. It's literally it's almost like Trapper but like bigger brain Trapper. Like Trapper is like dumb brain and then Hag is like big brain Trapper, right? And it's like I have never ever taken out the time to learn. There's so much that it's almost not even worth playing. So most people who play Hag aren't gonna be that great. Therefore, I put her at B tier. She could go higher. I just think, nobody, really, genuinely, nobody is going to take the time out to learn Hag, and therefore she's just kind of stuck at B tier. A little bit unfortunate, but even if they did take time to learn her, I think there are still too many counters, and she would be left at A tier either way. But yeah, so then the next killer would be boom. This one is going to surprise a lot of people, right? Clown. Gotta put Clown at B tier. I almost want to put him in A tier, but he's not quite that good. So they changed him, so now when he holds his bottles, he moves at normal speed. So that's interesting. That'll be something that'll change a lot, especially because really a lot of the time you lose people is because you're trying to hold out this bottle, and then by the time you can throw it, they've already gained like 20 fucking feet of distance. It's ridiculous, but other than that, I really think Clown is OP as shit. Like when he's at a pallet, that's his absolute strongest. They drop the pallet. If they don't drop the pallet, if you have the right add-ons, you can play around the smoke that you have going. Boom. If they do drop the pallet, throw some smoke right on the pallet. Act like you're gonna play it. They'll run right into the smoke. The moment they scream and touch that smoke, boom, break the pallet. They'll be stunned. They'll be walking so slow that you'll be able to catch up to them. I also use, what is it? It's the perk that lets you break the pallets faster. So you just break the pallets super duper fast and you catch up to them because they're moving super slow. And it's like so OP. Literally every time they get to a pallet, it's a free hit within 10 seconds every single time. So if there's somebody who knows where pallets are, boom. If there's somebody who don't, before it used to be an issue because if they didn't know where the pallets were or they played certain loops like TNL walls. Clown doesn't really do too much at TNL walls. It's kind of unfortunate. Or maybe I just haven't learned his TNL wall play yet. I just started playing him recently. But anyways, basically, yeah, he's insane. He's really good actually, and I'm gonna make a video on him. So you guys will see that coming up very soon. But yeah, B tier, and you'll have to wait for the video to see why. If you don't believe me, if you do believe me, great. If you look at the statistics, he genuinely does 4K a lot more at higher ranks, at red ranks than almost any other killer. I think like 60% of his games are 4Ks, which is a lot. It's actually a lot, or maybe more. I honestly can't remember. But anyways, moving on. So the next one is gonna be gotta be boom Pig, right? So the reason Pig is up here, I actually don't think she's that great. I would have put her in C tier, but because of her add-ons, she has certain add-ons that pretty much guarantee a head pop. And if they don't guarantee a head pop, they slow down the game so much that it's an automatic win because everyone's going back and forth between, you know, jigsaw boxes trying to get their head pops off. So I really think she's really OP specifically because of her add-ons. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about her. And yeah, next killer is gotta be Plague. I'm gonna go ahead and put Plague just because she does, if you play her right, she does have the one hit. If they cleanse, you got the spit, as long as you can use the spit correctly. If they don't cleanse, they're all one hit. Use the right build, and that's OP. Not much to say about Plague. I just think that certain maps kind of leave her, hanging, and she's just kind of powerless at certain maps. She can't do much. Kind of in the same boat as Huntress, except a little bit weaker because, she has to spin on them for a certain amount of time, which you're wasting time doing that. Whereas, Huntress, you just throw a hatchet and that's a hit. But yeah, pretty much that's all there is to say about Plague. She's good, but not too much potential compared to these guys up here. And that's going to be it for B tier. And now we're going to move on to C tier, which I'm going to start it off. Boom, right like that. We're going to put Michael here. So I'm going to put Michael here. So it's kind of like the same situation as Pig, right? Certain add-ons make him better. In fact, I think he's only viable when you use add-ons. I don't think he's good when you have no add-ons. In fact, he's unusable, literally, when you have no add-ons. So I just had to put him in C tier. That makes him worse than Pig, is that Pig can still be played without her add-ons. Him with no add-ons is like, you're just standing in a corner, really. Like, it's terrible. And plus his add-ons, even his add-ons, every couple of games you'll get the add-ons to work, but there's nothing that's going to allow you to 4K every game as Michael. There's just not. So yeah, and then next I'm going to go ahead and put Bubba. I'm sure a lot of you guys were expecting Bubba to be on D tier, but he one hits, and there are builds that can make Bubba actually good. There are genuinely builds that can make Bubba good. So I had to put him in C tier. I almost want to put him above Michael, but I would say that Michael's add-ons work a little bit more often than even Bubba with his best build. But I'm gonna be honest, I've 4K'd versus all red ranks with Bubba, with not basement Bubba, an actual Bubba build that I came up with that I thought was the best Bubba build that I could come up with, and he's good. It's just not as consistent. It's not at all. But yeah, so that's why he's in C tier, and then the next killer would probably be gonna have to go ahead and put Demigorgon up here. So I think Demigorgon is all right at loops. I think he can charge, and I mean, I don't think, I know he can charge, and that's nice. But, his map pressure is shit. It's so bad. People will just gen rush, and then, you can't do anything. And then, like, his fucking teleports, like, people just break the teleport, and then you can't do anything with the teleports. I genuinely end up using my teleports, just placing it right in front of the gen, so they'll break the teleport instead of doing the gen and just waste time breaking the teleport. Like, I don't even really use the teleports a lot of the time because people just fucking break them instantly and they find them even if you hide them. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's why I got to put him in C tier. Half of his ability is rendered useless, and then the other half is nice with loops, but leaves him completely map pressureless, and people just gen rush him. And then these last three, I'm not gonna put them in any order. I'm just gonna fucking put them down there. They're shit. All of them are absolute shit. They one hit, and their abilities don't help them at all, in my personal opinion. Doctor's probably the best. His ability helps him more than anyone else. Even Infinite Lesion is not as good. Fucking Infinite Freddy is 10 gajillion times better. But yeah, that's pretty much it. D tier is shit. Hopefully I don't have to explain that too much, or if you guys have questions on that, ask me in the comments. But to explain the list a little bit more, right? So the way I learned to split up these tiers is Huntress as good as Billy, right? And I thought, no, I don't think Huntress is as good as Billy. I think Huntress is left behind, again, too slow, not a one hit unless you use Eerie Head, but if you use Eerie Head, it's top S tier. But and then did the same thing, is Hag as good as Ghostface? And I thought, no, I think Ghostface can more likely consistently win 4K, and Hag cannot. Hag, there's too many counters to Hag, whereas Ghostface's power, you actually constantly get to use his power regardless of what the survivors do. Hopefully, as long as you're not actually using his ability to stalk people, that is not how you use Ghostface people. That is not how you do it. You just go and you hit them when they can't hear you, and you surprise them on the gen. Sometimes you get some gen pulls. It's really nice. That's how you use Ghostface. Anyways, and then the same exact thing here. Michael is just not as good as Plague. Actually, I don't know. I might even switch these. I would honestly switch these or something. I don't know. Those two are probably about even. But I didn't want everybody to be B tier. I didn't want all these to be B tier. And these guys are definitely not C tier. They're definitely D tier. So I had to split it up somehow. And that's pretty much how I split that up. And again, these D tier ones, I just threw everyone who was useless in D tier. Like straight up, I think all these killers are absolutely useless. They have no use at all. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. They fucking are shit. And so the moment everyone has been waiting for, Pyramid Head. Where would I list Pyramid Head? Let me see. I would probably put Pyramid Head in A tier. I would probably put him, I'm gonna put him in front of Trapper, but behind Freddy for right now. Because until I figure out how to use his ability, I already know his ability is hard to use. You can't really use it in an open area. You don't really want to use it through walls. You really want to use it in a situation where they definitely are going to get hit. Almost like Huntress. You pull out the hatchet when they drop a pallet. It's the same thing. If they're going to drop the pallet, slam on the ground and spike up and hit them on the other side of the pallet. Something like that. Or if they're going to vault the window, slam on the ground and spike them while they're going through the window. Something like that. I think that's when that ability is going to be useful. And I think his other ability is going to be useful for when you're in the middle of a chase. If you literally cross off the entire loop that he's going around, he has to be tormented. And then by the end of the game, you get a free Mori, or you can send him to the Nether Realm, is what I call it. But so yeah, so I think he's pretty good, but I think his abilities are going to be complicated, and you're going to have to take a lot of learning, a lot of just a learning curve like the rest of these people. And then once you get that down, you should be good. But yeah, so definitely in there. I might put him above Freddy again. Once I learn, I'll know. But I think that's gonna be it for the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't agree, I'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments. I'll even respond. Like, this is a topic that I'm very strong on, and I really truly believe that this is the tier list for DBD at the moment. If you use killers at their highest potential. I know True Talent did something with Wraith recently, but I mean, I just genuinely do not believe. I've tried and tried and tried. I have over 1K hours and it's still difficult. It's just, it's not happening. Wraith is not good. I don't know how he did it. I genuinely don't know. But anyways, yeah, so that's gonna be the video, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.